another great night of racing here at Buffalo Raceway. And fortunately tonight, it's a pleasure to be joined by Jimmy Morrill, one of the leading drivers in the sport, who makes his home base here near Buffalo. We could cover stats all day long. Jimmy, you had a career year last year. You're over $70 million, in fact, in purse earnings for your career. I believe you've been over $2 million for the last 13 years. Things have really gone well for you over the last several seasons.
Yeah, I've really been fortunate. No complaints, and since the slots came in and I switched over to full-time New York Sire Stakes, it's better than it ever was, even when I was racing full-time at the Meadowlands.
Right, and speaking of those New York Sire Stakes, actually on the championship night last year at Yonkers, you had a big night. You won 3 of the $225,000 finals. Obviously, Archangel, a top trotter. You won a Heat of the Futurity down with us at the Red Mile in Kentucky. Had a great year. Talk to us, how was it just traveling around on the New York Sire Stakes circuit? One of your better years, I would have to think, last season.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, but, they race for a lot of money. And, as long as you're making money, the miles don't seem so hard,
And sometimes you get a little carryover, obviously, with a lot of the top New York horses compete on the Grand Circuit. So, in fact, not only do you end up on the New York Sire Stakes circuit, but you end up driving in a lot of the Grand Circuit events as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Gabe. These New York horses have really proven that they can be Grand Circuit horses that, it wasn't that long ago, that they really couldn't. But, a lot of these farms, blue chip, they got a lot of top sires and that now. And for surely the New York horses have proven they can go with anybody in the country.
No doubt about that. And talk to us about your schedule a little bit, Jimmy. We're fortunate enough to have you close by here on the Western New York circuit. In fact, you may bump into you any given night on those bad winter nights, even here at the grandstand, watching the action. And, of course, when it warms up, we're lucky enough to have you join us here at Buffalo and some down in Batavia as well. Are you from this area originally? How long have you been back in the Buffalo area?
I'm not. My wife is. In August this year, it'll be our 8th summer up there on a little farm that we bought, and we really love living here. The winters are a little tough, but I'm from New Hampshire originally, and I do winter sports. I like to go over to the Nike base and play hockey every day, and do a little bit of skiing, and we really enjoy living in Western New York.
Well, it's a nice area, no doubt. I'm more of a spring and summer guy myself, but that's not far away, so things are looking up. And scheduling-wise, as you mentioned there, take some time off in the winter. You were driving the Breeders' Crowns last fall-winter there, and you came back just a couple of weeks ago with us. And still, with the schedule of months off, you were in the top 12 money earnings last year at almost $8 million. Is that a schedule that you had kind of mapped out, or is that just fallen into place over the last few years and decided to stick with it?
Yeah, well, it was mapped out. When I first moved up here, I didn't really have a plan. I was going to just try and grind it out, Buffalo and Batavia, and decided to start doing a little bit of the New York Sire Stakes and then go full-time with the New York Sire Stakes and just let everybody know that I would be at every leg on every night of the New York Sire Stakes. So there was no guessing, where I was going to be, what I was going to be doing. If there were racing Sire Stakes somewhere, I was going to be there. And once I made that commitment, that seemed to make a big difference.
Well, it was a big commitment, but nonetheless, it's had a big payoff for you as well. Busy circuit, obviously, with the 7 New York tracks. And talk to us about your upcoming schedule this year. You've obviously been here with the last couple of weeks with us at Buffalo. I see you're back down next week. How long can we expect to have you here locally?
Well, I'm going to drive, obviously, this weekend, and I'm going to drive all next week. And then Pocono opens up on March 23rd. And when they open there, I swing down that way. That's worked out well for me the last few years. I get some nice horses to drive there. They race for good money, and I get to see a lot of the people that I'll be racing for, in the New York Sire Stakes, and a lot of people from New Jersey and a lot of people from that area that I get a lot of work from during the summer. So it kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. I get to race there and make some money and shake a lot of hands.
Right, it's a great area. Obviously got all the top trainers and top stables. Before we will let you go here on the first segment, do want to ask you, speaking of those relationships, while you're with us in town, You've obviously won just a ton of races. You won 7, I believe, in your first night back. Obviously, didn't take long to shake the rust off. How do you go about choosing which horses to drive, while you're with us locally? You're obviously here for just a short time. Do you typically just try to go with a better horse, or is it about maybe relationship you have with certain trainers?
Well, I do try to go with the best horse, but, I do have a few people that are friends, and there's the one barn, the Jerry Cerama barn. He has a lot of horses. They put me on everything. Good relationship with Mike Torricello, the owner, and I kind of lean towards his horses and a couple of friends, but mostly, I'm here to make money, and I try to drive the best horse.
Well, good deal. It's worked out quite well for you thus far. Obviously, never seen a driver, especially here locally, can get on a horse maybe that I have 6-1 morning line and 6-5 first flash. It's always fun when you're in town with us. We enjoy watching you work, and we'll look for you, of course, on the stakes scene as we move on as well. When we come back, we're going to